Have a Chippendale chair, my second chair, which I was trying to find out what kind of wood it was, and I think it is mahogany. It's an extremely heavy chair, almost 2 people to carry this, and mahogany is very dense, and especially Cuban mahogany, which I believe this is. So I date this chair 1770s. This is a Philadelphia chair. It has a very unusual splat. That's Irish splats love to use the heart and this design on the top there. Also, Eastern Virginia love to use some type of version of this. However, the legs generally were what's called Marlboro legs. They're straight and square. Kind of boring. And of these are, of course, cabriole legs with ball and claw feet. So it's a Philadelphia chair because of its construction, and you could pretty much order any splat. They prefer that you looked at their drawings because they were used to that, but this is a simple one they could have made very easily. Drew it up and created a template, and then they'd sell it to other people. So it's a nice little chair. Let's show close up a little bit. And that to me definitely looks mahogany now. You come down here, and you notice antique furniture, people will talk about square pegs. And there's a good example of square pegs. They drill a round hole and pound that in with a wooden mallet, and boy, that holds. You can see a little crack there. One of the things to look for in 18th century furniture is when you look at these pegs, they used a spoon bit to make the hole. And then they put a square peg in, or not 100% round. And it has a tendency on the corners for a little crack to occur once in a while. That's a good way of finding out if it's an old chair. There's many ways of doing it, but that's just one of them. And you come over here, and then that nice leg. And these are all hand done. These are Philadelphia ball and claw. Each region had its own style. In the Boston area, this claw here, there's my dog, this claw here was angled back a little bit. And a ball and claw is a dragon grasping a pearl. So there's a nice view of what I think is mahogany. I'm on somebody's outside, so my dog's all upset. And then to look behind, I'll turn the chair over. It's very heavy, so this one's a little difficult to move. Very, very heavy. It's amazing how heavy this chair is. And there's the back. Again, the shoe, 2 pieces. There's a piece. That's a crack. There's a piece. There's a piece. And there's your typical Philadelphia construction. Through tenon with 2. Trying to get it. Let's go over here. With 2 pins or pegs. That's typical Philadelphia. And there's the splat from the back. Really nice wood. This is Cuban mahogany. That's the best wood there is. They don't have it anymore. Cuba and the the Dominican Republic and those adjacent islands, they don't have as many trees anymore, and they're protected. Totally protected. And then from the side, you see the typical angle, which is 1 piece of wood. Now I'll again, there's my dog that was upset about something. I'll turn the chair again. Almost need 2 people to turn that. And There's the, obviously that's a replaced seat. But when I push on it, I hear horsehair. So I'm wondering if this is the second seat and they used the original pig or horse hair. I don't know if you can hear that. But I'll take the seat out. And again, as in the other chair I did, there you have your yellow pine original seat frame. And this seat frame has some writing on it. I don't know if I can get it. But it says Robert Harrington. And then over here it says slip seat. Or, excuse me, not a slip seat. Stitch seat. Which meant that this seat would get a cloth, as it does here, but in 1770s they got a cloth seat which would have made out of wool or silk, and they might have had a stitched pattern on it. So the reason why he put this name Robert Harrington on it is probably because he had a number of customers and he wanted to keep all the chairs separate. What seat went with what chair, you know, and what style went with what chair, etc. Because people ordered different things and maybe different woods, and it just was a way of organizing things. So that's really nice to have. And this here, let's see if I can get that. Let's see if I can get this one over here first. This chair is chair number... Well, it won't come in. Yeah, it just doesn't come in. This chair is chair number 4. And this chair, just to the right of my finger, is chair number 3. I mean, seat number 3. So somehow when they were, you know, the family owned this chair, the seats got mixed up and they didn't care. You know, they didn't care as long as it fit. And so here we have the interior, again, as in my other video. 2-piece front block, circular, on one side here. Same here. And in the back, just 1-piece circular. Now, unlike my other chair, which had a piece of wood going from here all the way over here with rosehead nails, this just has a small block on either side. And the reason why they did that is so this block here I'm pointing to doesn't rock, because now there's something in the way. So there's probably a rosehead nail under this block holding that in. And there you can see the chair there, and just some of the roughness of the chair on the inside. You could just feel the roughness. Let me see if I can get the front. Move the chair over a little bit, get a little bit of light in here. That's going. See, all of this here is rough. And my dog's eating the bone again. He gets upset when I'm on camera here. It's all rough, all hand planed because they didn't have to. There's that ball and claw from the inside. Typical Philadelphia ball and claw. Now move it over again. And see a close up. Now that's all done by hand. You got to get this ball right here nice and round. And you can feel the imperfections, because this one's doing pretty good, but you can feel a little bit of imperfection there. And that's how they did it back then. Ball and claw is Chippendale. It's not really Queen Anne. And so that makes the chair really look nice, but the back legs, of course, are plainer. So I'll put my seat back on here. So a nice little I'm going to say 1770s. It could be 1760s, because the splat that you see there was an early splat in Virginia. It's possible it still could be 1760s. But by looking at that splat, you can see it looks more mahogany than walnut. Nice little heart on the bottom. So this was a set. Would have had one armchair. And at least this is seat number 4. Or 3. So there was at least 4, most likely 6. Most of them were ordered in 6 to 8. So a nice little chair. I didn't have any ball and claw furniture, so bought this at an auction. Really was interested in a couple of Boston chairs, but I didn't. I have a set limit on what I'll pay, and that's not very much, because here in New England, northern New England, 18th century furniture is plentiful and nobody wants it. So it's good to. It's amazing how nobody wants some of this stuff. So hopefully someday in the future the price of these will increase a little, make it worth as an investment. But right now, antiques are not a very good investment. Thanks for watching.